Greetings. Father Mark signing on, continuing the series on the papacy in the modern world, moving into the reign of Pope 238, Pope Clement IX, who reigned from 1667 to 1669. The conclave of 1667 decided to continue the policies of Pope Alexander VII by electing his Secretary of State to follow him. Baptized with the name Giulio Rospigliosi, he reigned as 238th Pope for 18 months, taking the name Clement IX. Born in Pistoia, Italy, on January 27, 1600, Giulio had studied under the Jesuits at Pisa and Rome before entering papal service, in the course of which he served on the papal curia in a junior position. Also served as nuncio to Spain, as governor of Rome, the temporal governor of Rome, culminating in Secretary of State in 1657. So he was well known, having been a Secretary of State for a decade prior to his election. That, and the connections he built over that decade, is the only explanation for how he was able to accomplish so much in such a short pontificate. Portugal had been united to Spain by means of a marriage by Philip II in 1580, affected because the House Avis, the Portuguese House Avis, A-V-I-S, ended without direct heirs, and Philip's mother was related to the royal family of Portugal. So on the basis of a past marriage alliance, he was able to claim the throne. The union lasted until 1640, when, as we saw previously in previous pontificates, that the Portuguese revolted against Spain, seeking their independence, under their aggressively nationalistic House Braganza. This conflict lasted for nearly 30 years. Pope Clement IX, as Secretary of State under Alexander VII, had been working for years to achieve an end to this bloodbath between two Catholic monarchies. He had the satisfaction of achieving the resolution as Pope when he negotiated a settlement in which Spain recognized the independence of Portugal in February of 1668. France. Louis XIV of France had a claim on the Spanish Netherlands, which on today's maps is Belgium, through his wife, so another problem of dynastic intermarriages. His wife was the daughter of King Philip IV of Spain by his first marriage. Louis decided to press his claim when Philip died by invading Belgium. This instigated a war. It's called the War of Devolution. Not evolution, devolution. So named because of a medieval law in the Duchy of Brabant, which is part of what is now Belgium, that property could pass down the female line. And if it did so, that's called devolution, as opposed to primogeniture, which is passing it through the male line. Louis deciding to press the claim was, of course, prompted by greed. And the war pushed the Protestant Dutch to form an alliance with Catholic Spain against Catholic France, because both feared the expansionism of Louis XIV. Pope Clement IX, who knew all involved personally, had actually met all the leaders involved, negotiated an end to the war at the Peace of Aachen, signed on May 2nd, 1668. Louis, in the terms of the peace, did not get all of Belgium as he wanted, but he did get the Belgian border towns, border from his perspective in France, the towns of Charleroi, Douai, Tournai, and Lille, L-I-L-L-E. In terms of teaching, the only issue that Clement had to deal with was the ongoing problem of Jansenism, which is theological fungus of the the early modern period. It would not go away. Clement had been serving as governor of Rome when Pope Alexander VII composed the formulary, the second formulary from 1658, demanding that Jansenists admit that the 5 propositions were in Jansen's commentary and condemn them. The following year, Clement became Secretary of State, so was privy to the continuing protest from all sides of the French conflict. Jansenist sympathizers insisted on making the distinction between right and fact, which became a Jansenist trademark, while the loyal Catholics protested that the conflict was so consuming that they were not able to get any substantive work done in their actual job of serving the church, because all endeavors inevitably dissolved when the two sides started bickering over this. So as Pope, Clement IX, with the agreement of King Louis XIV, he also wanted the issue off of his desk, in February of 1669, Clement produced a new formulary, so a third one, which merely required condemnation of the 5 propositions as being erroneous theology, while remaining silent on whether or not those propositions were actually in Jansen's writings. This was seen by all sides as a victory of Jansenism over both the papacy and the monarchy, since the Jansenists could claim to be in full communion with the Catholic Church without having to condemn their founder, Jansen. Now, even this did not resolve it, so Jansenism is going to return. But this compromise achieved its immediate goal so successfully that even writers of the period started calling it the Clementine peace. The only other major development during Clement's reign was a renewal of Turkish aggression in the Mediterranean. So Islamic, the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, so they're Muslim, of course, and their naval activity in the Mediterranean. It was not on the scale of what led up to the Battle of Lepanto, but it did succeed. The Turks did succeed in taking control of the island of Crete. And so they had a base, further away in the Mediterranean. Clement provided funds to hire ships and mercenaries to assist Venice against them, but in the end, Venice gave up and surrendered Crete to the Turks on September 6th, 1669. And Pope Clement died on December 9th, 1669. And so we will end here and cover the next pope in a separate video. So for now, thank you for your attention. This session is adjourned.